Good morning, everybody. Wachek Misle. My name is Rosary Spence, and I'm a knowledge carrier at Native Child and Family Services. If you have not seen me here before, I've done a few of these live streams now, and each time I hop on here, I often think about what should I talk about today? What should I talk about this morning? And I'm a Cree lady. I come from James Bay, a small community called Fort Albany First Nation. It's very isolated and it's a fly-in community. Although in the winter times we do have a winter road that allows us to take our vehicles and head south. And it's a long ride on the ice road, but it's quite pleasant. Toronto today is looking, dreary and gloomy and dark and rainy. And it made me think about, different ways our environments and situations can affect our mental health and our emotional well-being and our spiritual health, even our physical, on a cold and gloomy day like this, I don't feel the greatest. My energy is low. My bones get a little sore even, and I'm tired, and especially during this time, the hustle bustle of the holiday season also, really tires me out. I have small kids at home that, I provide for and, make sure to have, make a memorable, a Christmas holiday for them, and to be around family. So it's tiring. So I was thinking about all the different ways I can nurture and take care of my being, you know, um, my whole being. And one thing that I always lean to is my medicines, prayer. The power of prayer is something very phenomenal that I've witnessed my entire life. And I really do believe in that power of prayer and that belief in a higher power, whoever it is that you pray to, and which belief system you have. Some believe in Creator, some believe in God, Allah, and the universe, and all sorts of entities we can call them, spiritual entities and energy beings that we pray to help us and guide us, throughout our journeys. These physical journeys as humans can be very tiresome at times, and we can struggle. So I do believe in that power of prayer. Today I sent out my prayers this morning. I was thinking about my siblings and my relatives. I was thinking about my parents, my grandparents, and everybody that has passed on and who has left us already, but those that have also that are still here on this earth. So I sent out my prayers and I'm thinking about them and sending good vibes and love and good energy. And, even some of us, we don't even talk or we don't even communicate with each other, and there's differences sometimes that come in between families. And that's all right. We don't have to get along with everybody just because we're related, but we can still send them good energy and send them good thoughts and prayers and love them from a distance. That's one thing that my gohom always told me, my grandmother, was that you can still love them even if you don't like them. We're still family. And we would still go to church and we would still go to the land and we would still do our prayers and keep everybody in our thoughts and prayers. So that's how I look at it, and I feel like that brings me a level of comfort, and knowing that that prayer is always there. Um, I've oftentimes too throughout my life, I really struggled with depression, and having anxiety and panic attacks and things like that. And I picked up different tools along the way and how to manage that. And in my 40, almost 42 years of life, I don't consider myself an elder or anything like that, but I have been able to pick up some tools along the way that have helped me on my journey when it comes to helping myself, healing myself, and protecting myself. And one of those things, of course, is my medicines, my smudging, the prayers. And then I also depend on ceremony a lot of the time too. If I'm really struggling, I'll go find a ceremony happening somewhere. I'll reach out to community I'll reach out to family and I'll say, hey, do you know where there's a lodge happening? Do you know where there's ceremony happening? Is there anything coming up? I really need to connect with my ancestors and creator, and I really need to pray for myself, you know, because as a mother and as a provider and a caregiver, I really have to make sure that my mental health and my spiritual health and emotional well-being is okay because my I have dependents that lean on me for that kind of support, and I have a job that I need to do on this earth, and not only just in community, but within family as well. So that in itself, it requires me to really take care of myself. So I lean on those things, ceremony, medicines, family, friends. If when I'm really struggling, I'll reach out to a really close friend and I'll, do a little bit of venting and a little bit of talking. I also have a therapist that I've been working with probably for the past 15 years. I've since I lost my sister 15 years ago, I've been in deep therapy and working on my mental health and dealing with my traumas, as an Indigenous woman in Canada. And just as a Cree girl, even from up north, I really bounced around a lot in foster homes and different things like that, group homes, and spent some time here and there, and I endured some traumas, and I carry that with me. So one thing I learned is that those things don't really go away, those feelings and those thoughts and things like that, and memories of traumas of how we've been inflicted growing up. It doesn't go away. We just learn how to live with it and to use that to better ourselves, to become stronger, and it's quite easy to slip into depressions and quite easy to fall into ways of life that will hurt us, addictions and struggles and things like that. It's quite easy to slip into that as well. But if we believe in that power of prayer, we can turn that around for ourselves, and what kind of life that we want to live, what kind of life do we want to um, raise our children around and things like that, right? So I think about these things and different ways I support myself and my mental health and how I help others as well, and people that come to me and ask me for help and guidance, sometimes all it takes is an ear, sometimes all it takes is just to hear somebody's voice and to know that you're not alone. And there's a few resources in the community. I heard about this phone number. You can call 988, it's called, and it's a national crisis telephone number, suicide hotline for all across Canada. There's support workers there and counselors to help you out if you go into that really dark place of not wanting to be on earth anymore. Your life is very valuable and your life is very precious, and you are here for a reason and a purpose. You have gifts and talents, and you're beautiful and loved. And no one wants you to take your life that way. So there are supports out there like that 988 number you can call for some guidance and for some support. And then you can, if you have family and close friends, reach out and say, hey, I'm having a really hard time and I need some help. And through survival, you can also support other people and you can be an inspiration to others as well. It's that circle, of full circle of, it coming back to you, you know. And I've been in dark places myself, and I know that and reaching out to supports has always helped me, and oftentimes too, who knows, maybe you might need some medication. Maybe you need to go to a doctor or a medicine man to look for some traditional medicines, you know, uh, maybe take your tobacco and offer it to a healer or a medicine man and say, hey, I'm really struggling with my mental health. And sometimes they can do ceremony. Maybe there's something spiritual that's affecting you, and then you can have ceremony to take care of that energy or that entity that might be affecting your physical or your mental health. Sometimes it's very spiritual. I discovered that once upon a time in my youth that there was something bothering me, something hanging around me, and I had to do ceremony to let that thing go, that energy that was hanging on to me, that was bringing me down. So think about that too, maybe go see a healer or go see a doctor. It's very different, those two things, Western medicine and traditional medicine, but sometimes they work good together too. A good way that one of a healer told me about. He said, if you don't, he said, you wouldn't come to me with a broken arm. He said, you need to go to the hospital for that. But if your soul feels a little broken, your heart feels a little broken, you can come to me. So it's you have to think about the two different things. Is this physical ailment? Is this something that a doctor needs to see, or is this something that a healer can help me with traditional medicine? Traditional medicine is very powerful too. I've witnessed, cancer be treated. I've witnessed lots of physical and ailments be treated through our traditional medicines. It's very powerful. And you should take the time too to learn a little bit about that. Teach yourself, and get into a hobby of maybe looking up different plant medicines and learning about them and discovering them. That's a good way to elevate your mind and your consciousness, is to be aware of the plants around you and the plant medicine, to be aware of your environment again, to ground yourself. And that leads me to another tool that helped me along the way on my journey is finding something that I enjoy doing, that brought purpose to my life, that made me happy, that made me feel good. And for me, that was always singing is my number one. I love to sing traditional songs. I love to sing any kind of music. I also love to do handicrafts like beading and making moccasins and mucklucks. I love to work with on the land with any kind of traditional activity. That anything that brings me to the earth makes me feel so good. So if you have that ability and that time and to take yourself on the land, that's a good place to start. And you can do your prayers out there too. But that's all I wanted to share with you today. Importance of our mental health and taking care of our mental health and how it's all connected, physical, the mental, emotional, the spiritual, we're all connected. And if our medicine wheel is a little off balance, it's our wheel's not going to turn very smoothly. It's going to be a very lumpy ride. So think of your whole being as a medicine wheel. You got to take care of it so your ride can be a little smoother. Take care of each quadrant of that wheel. And that's all I wanted to share today. But miigwech, for listening today, and maybe I'll see you